Up the river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one grass, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo, bedtime or night. Though we may criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right, so we ain't giving up no mountain. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one grass, not a bit of grass. So we ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. We are a peaceful people, struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know, we gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere, make no mistake. Cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one grass, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo, bedtime or night. Though we may criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right, so we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one grass, not a blade of grass. So we ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. We are a peaceful people, struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know. We gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere. Make no mistake, 'cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo, the time when though we may criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right, so we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. So we ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. We are a peaceful people, struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know. We gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere. Make no mistake, 'cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river.
Good morning to everyone, our judges and our two contesting parties for today. Good morning to all of our viewers. These are the semi-final debates for the Speaker's National Youth Debating Competition. Today we are live on our National Communication Network channel, NCN, and we're also live on Globespan TV and Guyana TV, along with our parliamentary feed. So welcome to everyone, good morning, and we're in for two exciting debates, one starting now and one at 11 o'clock. So this morning, judges, Chief Judge Melissa Robertson, Assistant Director of Sport, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. Graduate qualifications, sport, national sport personality, and judge for the last 4 years of these debates. Our next judge is Miracle Miller, a young lady I admire a lot, former best speaker of our debates, youth ambassador, participated in the United Nations Youth Assembly, holds a degree in engineering, and she's working out there on the exploration ships for more oil and gas. And our third judge is Safraz Yaqub, pursuing a master's degree in international public health, lecturer at the University of Guyana, former best debater, national youth champion, and a whole lot of other credentials behind him. We've been hearing about these judges throughout the last 2 months. The teams today are the proposing team, Bajival Secondary School Youth Group, and they are going to be represented by Akwansi Charles, 15 years old, from Enterprise. The first speaker, Miss Akwansi Charles, 15 years old from Enterprise. Mr. Ray Duncan, 15 years old from Belmont. And Miss Kia Wilson, 15 years old from El Dorado Village. El Dorado Village, that's West Coast Babies. That's the first village after you come off the long stretch, right? Second, great. So she travels a long distance every day to come to school. The opposing team is Helpful Hands Youth Group, and they're represented by Abian Saul, 22 years old, from Lamaha Springs in Georgetown. Has a fancy name. That area I used to know as another name. Sherlyn Pantlitz, 21 years old, from Parfait Harmony on the West Dem, and Negril Dripol, 22 years old, from Grove. So Nigel Dripol. The mood today is financial education should be mandatory in secondary schools in Guyana. I declare this debate open. And before I call on the first speaker, I just have one caution to all of the speakers. There are 2 bells you're going to hear towards the end of your presentation. 3 bells in all. The first bell says you can start. And then there's the 1 minute warning bell. So that sounds, and then the final bell says your time is up. You get penalized for carrying on. 5 minutes for 5 points for every speaker. So I am giving you warning. If you want to lose the debate based on indiscipline with respect to time, go ahead. That last bell, thank you very much. That's my only advice today. I don't want anyone complaining about I went over 5 minutes and 5 points deducted, and the other one went over 20 minutes in the same 5 points. The bell says stop, not a rolling stop. There ain't got nothing like a rolling stop. It just says slow down and continue to stop. Stop is stop. Thank you. Now, the first speaker for Bajival Secondary School Youth Group, Miss Akwansi Charles. Your time starts now.
Honorable judges, honorable speaker, members of the opposition, audience in house and online, a fantastic morning to you all. Today I stand before you to argue in favor of the mood. Financial education should be mandatory in secondary schools in Guyana. We have redefined this mood and have interpreted it to be financial education, which teaches the skills and attitudes necessary to understand money and finance, should be compulsory in secondary schools in Guyana. Before I begin my argument, I will define some key terms in the mood. Cambridge Dictionary defines financial as relating to money or how money is managed. Education is defined as the process of teaching or learning, especially in a school or college. Collins Dictionary. Collins Dictionary defines should as indicates obligation. According to the Oxford Dictionary, mandatory is defined as something that must be done, usually because law states so. Cambridge Dictionary defines secondary school as a school for children between ages 11 and 18. As the first speaker of the proposition, I seek to educate you on the importance of financial literacy by examining long-term economic benefits and how economic inequality can be reduced. My competent second speaker, Ray Duncan, will highlight the educational and practical benefits of making financial education mandatory in secondary schools in Guyana. And my ardent third speaker, Kia Wilson, will secure our argument by looking at the social and ethical implications of financial education. Financial literacy is not just a skill, it is a necessity for navigating the complexity of modern life. It equips individuals with the knowledge and tools they need to make informed and effective decisions about their financial resources. Intelligent judges. In an article titled Consumers Urged to Get Familiarized with the Hire Purchase Laws, the Attorney General Chambers and Ministry of Legal Affairs have noted that the people of Guyana have lodged complaints with respect to alleged unfair and possibly unlawful conduct in hire purchase transactions. Making financial education compulsory in secondary schools in Guyana will eliminate these issues, since young generation will be equipped with the skills necessary to manage their finances effectively in the future. Honorable Speaker, esteemed judges, educating Guyana's young youths on finances can lead to long-term economic benefits for our country. Financially literate individuals are likely to make informed decisions, contribute to economic growth, and reduce the overall risk of economic crisis. A study by the World Bank 2022 found that financial literacy programs in schools lead to a better financial decision-making in adulthood, contributing to stability. The opposition may argue that alternative approaches such as integrating financial components into existing subjects can provide financial education without overwhelming the curriculum. However, these components are taught by well-trained and competent subject specialists in financial education. Students are at a greater advantage of achieving the highest level of competency. Additionally, mandatory financial education would provide students with essential skills of managing personal finances, including budgeting, saving, investing, and understanding credit. This knowledge will empower them to make prudent financial decisions that can positively and avoid falling into a trap of poor financial habits, which can lead to debt. Mandatory financial education can also play a significant role in reducing economic inequality in Guyana. Research by the National Bureau of Economic Research 2022 indicates that financial literacy can help bridge the gap between different socio-economic groups by providing equal opportunities for financial success. Through mandatory financial education in secondary schools, we will create a more equitable society where everyone can succeed. Honorable judges, you will agree that financially literate young people will be better equipped to contribute to Guyana's economic growth. They will be most likely to start businesses, invest in their communities, and contribute to the overall boost in our economy. Making financial education mandatory in secondary schools in Guyana isn't just an educational reform. It is a societal necessity. I thank you.
And thank you very much, Akwansi, from the Baijival Secondary School Youth Group. And now for the first speaker from Helpful Hands Youth Group, Ms. Abian Saw. Abian, your time starts now.
Adulate judges, attentive timekeeper, my noble proponents, Mr. Speaker, members of the audience and other parties present. Good morning. Today, I, Abby Ansal, together with my second speaker, Ms. Sherlyn Pantlitz, and third speaker, Mr. Nigel Trepal, will expatiate this moot which states, and I quote, financial education should be mandatory in secondary schools in Guyana. End quote. With the concrete evidence, facts, and statistics which my team and I gathered, we have all the reason to believe that this moot is unfounded and baseless. As the first speaker of the opposition, I will lay the foundation for our argument against the moot by examining why the school system is ill-prepared to offer mandatory financial education. My second speaker will further our stance by expounding on the shortcomings of mandatory financial education in schools. And finally, our third speaker will solidify our stance against the moot, explaining the need for the prioritization of core subjects and suggesting alternatives to mandatory financial education in schools. Honorable judges, permit me to define the key terms in the moot. As defined by Financial Literacy and Education Commission, financial education teaches the skills and attitudes necessary to understand money and finance. According to the Collins Dictionary, mandatory means compulsory, permitting no option not to be disregarded or modified. When rephrased, the moot reads as, the teaching of the skills and attitudes necessary to understand money and finance should be compulsory, permitting no option in secondary schools in Guyana. The key phrase being no option. And while the benefits of financial literacy are undeniable, we, the opposition, simply do not see or understand why it should be mandatory in schools. To begin, in an article published on June 25, 2017 by Kiter News entitled, Guyanese Teachers Must Be Empowered to Bridge the Financial Literacy Gap, in this article, Dr. Terrence Smith, Deputy Governor of the Bank of Guyana, noted that while it is a great initiative, Guyana has several obstacles concerning the incorporation of financial education, inclusive of, quote unquote, lack of resources and time, overloaded curricula, insufficient expertise and lack of high-quality materials, the variety of stakeholders involved, and commitment and overall accountability. While the members of the proposition may claim that the financial education may help to bridge the wealth gap, can we realistically expect schools already struggling with limited resources to find the funds and infrastructure necessary to support a new subject? Additionally, in an article penned by Micah Ukuneva, published by financialworkshopkids.org on July 25, 2023, entitled Reconsidering Financial Literacy in Schools, it mentioned, quote unquote, many teachers lack the expertise to teach financial literacy effectively. Implementing a new subject like financial education requires significant investment in training educators, developing curriculum materials, and providing the necessary educational resources. Introducing it without addressing these fundamental deficiencies would be impractical and ineffective. Secondly, we must consider the issue of curriculum overload. Members of the proposition may tell that financial education increases personal financial responsibility. But I must ask, at what cost? Making financial education mandatory to an already packed curriculum risks overwhelming both students and teachers. Students in secondary school are at a crucial stage where they are preparing for Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC examinations. Overloading them with additional subjects can dilute their focus, leading to burnout and a superficial understanding of multiple subjects. To further elucidate, an article entitled Competence-Based Content Should Replace Pressuring Syllabus, CXC Registrar published on October 15, 2021 by Guyana Times. Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the CXC, Dr. Wayne Wesley, stated, quote unquote, I don't know why we can't have a curriculum that allows students to complete what they need to know in the 4 years the Ministry of Education would have established for students to learn. We have an attitude now for a lot of extra lessons. We are pressuring the students, giving them an information overload. And when they're stressed out, we wonder what is happening. Do we really want to overwhelm our students with more mandatory subjects, potentially compromising their ability to excel? Are we prepared to see our teachers stretch even thinner, struggling to maintain the quality of education across an ever-expanding curriculum? The potential stress and burnout can negate the very benefits of proposition may claim to seek from introducing financial education. Esteemed judges, I urge you to picture the education system as a backpack carried by our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Abian. And now for the second speaker from Bajiville Secondary School Youth Group, Mr. Ray Duncan. Ray, your time starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, honorable speaker, esteemed judges, fellow debaters, good morning. Today, I stand firmly in support of the move to financial education should be mandatory in secondary schools in Guyana. Our nation is witnessing a period of unprecedented economic transformation, fueled by significant oil discoveries. This rapid growth demands a financially literate populace capable of navigating the complex financial landscape that comes with it. Imagine as a young person in secondary school, facing a world where managing money is crucial for your future success, yet our current education system in Guyana fails to provide you, a student, with the essential financial skills needed for this journey. The European Commission 2020 reported that young people with financial education are 25% more likely to start businesses and engage in entrepreneurial activities. Financial literacy is not just about managing money. It is about understanding the very fabric of our economy and making informed decisions that will shape our lives, setting a foundation for a more prosperous and independent future. A recent survey by the Caribbean Development Bank revealed that a staggering 70%, and I repeat, 70% of Caribbean residents lack fundamental knowledge of key financial concepts. This weakness leads to widespread financial distress where individuals struggle to make ends meet, accumulate debt, and face significant stress. The implementation of financial literacy in secondary schools will help students foster responsible financial behaviors that will contribute positively to the economy and their personal well-being. Financial education is crucial for all individuals, regardless of their economic status. So won't it be more beneficial to implement such a program at a young age, as it is always good to bend the tree when it's young? The opposition may say that the mandatory implementation of such a program may add extra pressure to the learners, but nothing good ever comes easy. Money management skills are essential for spending wisely, saving for the future, and avoid the pitfall of debt. The importance of financial education is recognized globally, with countries like Canada and the United States implementing national strategies to enhance financial literacy among their citizens. For example, the Canadian government's Financial Consumers Agency and the U.S. Department of Treasury's Financial Literacy and Education Commission works tirelessly to protect consumers and educate them on financial matters. Likewise, making financial education compulsory in secondary schools in Guyana will benefit students tremendously. In Guyana, unemployment rate is a significant challenge. The absence of mandatory financial education in schools leaves our youth unprepared for financial challenges they will inevitably face. Without this knowledge, young people are vulnerable to financial exploitation, perpetuating a cycle of poverty that stifles personal and national growth. Dr. Ashim Singh, Guyana's Senior Minister with responsibility for finance, emphasizes the importance of financial literacy, stating, as Guyana undergoes economic transformation, it is imperative that our citizens are financially literate. This knowledge is essential for personal financial stability and overall economic health of our nation. This statement underscores the essential need for integrating financial education into our school system. Implementing mandatory financial education in secondary schools in Guyana will not only equip our youth with the vital life skills, but also contribute to the overall economic stability of our nation. Financially literate individuals make informed decisions that foster economic growth and reduce poverty. It is our responsibility to ensure that every young Guyanese is prepared to face financial realities of the modern world. The time to act is now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ray. And now for the second speaker from Helpful Hands Youth Group, Charlene Pantlitz. Charlene, your time starts now. Your time starts now.
Imagine teaching someone to swim by reading a book.
You can study the strokes, understand the physics of buoyancy, and memorize safety rules. But until you actually get into the water and practice, your swimming skills remain theoretical. Similarly, financial education that doesn't translate into practical everyday financial decisions is like teaching swimming without ever stepping into a pool. The impact remains limited and the real world benefits are scarce. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges and my esteemed opponents, good morning. Today we are here as advocates for our youths and our future generation. Before I present these facts to you, I must say, not take your mati see. Sit back and analyze these things for yourselves. Firstly, let us consider the limited impact that mandatory financial education might have on students' financial literacy and decision-making habits. According to another article by Dr. Terence Smith, former Deputy Governor of Bank of Guyana, published by Culture News on May 27, 2017, titled The Strategy and Framework for Financial Literacy in Guyana, he noted that, and I quote, financial education programs often show minimal long-term effects on students' financial behavior, end of quote. Dr. Smith highlighted that despite well-intentioned efforts, students frequently fail to retain or apply financial knowledge effectively in their daily lives. This raised a critical question. If the primary goal of financial education is to improve financial literacy, why are the results so underwhelming? Dear members of the opposition, the proposition, are we to give students homework by sending them to invest in shares in a company and grade them based on their returns? Secondly, the current structure of the financial education places an overemphasis on theory rather than practical application. Students are already burdened with a curriculum heavy in theoretical knowledge, as mentioned by my first speaker, and adding another subject that mirrors this approach does little to equip them with real-world skills. Dr. Smith's article also points out that while theoretical knowledge forms the foundation, it is the hands-on experience that truly cultivates financial acumen. If financial education remains confined to the classroom, it risks becoming another abstract subject, detached from the realities of managing money in a tangible way. Can we truly claim to prepare our youth for financial independence by merely teaching them the theory without providing opportunities for real-world experiences? The proposition may argue that by making financial education a mandatory part of the curriculum, we will equip students with the necessary knowledge to make informed financial decisions. What in the absurdity is this? While this is an admirable goal, we must scrutinize the effectiveness of such a program. We are not saying that students should not be educated on financial literacy, but this type of coercion is unacceptable. Why should we mandate students to add more stress to their already stressed workload? This is like pouring gasoline on a fire. It does not increase productivity. It just ensures a faster burnout. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sherlyn. And now for the third speaker of the proposition, Ms. Kia Wilson from Bijibal Secondary School Youth Group. Kia, your time starts.
Honorable Speaker, esteemed judges, members of the opposition, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all. Today, I, Kia Wilson, third Speaker of the proposition, stand before you to advocate for a critical change in our education system, a change that has the potential to transform lives, empower individuals, and uphold ethical responsibility. Financial education is not a privilege, it is a fundamental right. By making it mandatory, we ensure that every student across Guyana, regardless of their background, gains essential financial knowledge. This bridges the gap between those who receive financial education at home and those who do not. Imagine a country where all students, whether from urban areas or remote villages, have equal access to financial literacy education. It is a vision we can turn into reality. According to a Crystal's High article, financial literacy education fosters responsible decision-making, empowering students to make informed choices about spending, saving, and debt. It cultivates a sense of financial responsibility, helping students avoid common pitfalls such as excessive debt and impulsive spending. Moreover, these skills lay the foundation for long-term financial security, enabling students to plan for further goals like higher education, home ownership, and retirement. Financial education is not just about balancing checkbooks or understanding compound interest. It's about equipping our students with the knowledge and skills to navigate the complex financial landscape they will encounter as adults. When individuals lack this understanding, they often fall into financial distress. Financial illiteracy can have severe social consequences. Imagine a young Guyanese family struggling to make ends meet. Predatory lending practices or lack of budgeting skills can trap them in cycles of debt, injuring their ability to contribute to the economy and live fulfilling lives. Financial education can help break these cycles and promote financial education can help financial inclusion, leading to a stronger and more equitable society. The opposition may argue that financial literacy programs are premised on the idea that poor choices, not circumstances, are the cause of individual financial difficulty. But by making financial education mandatory in secondary schools, everyone will be predisposed to acquiring these requisite skills that can avoid these poor choices. Financial illiteracy alleviates poverty. Once students are armed with basic financial skills, they will not fall prey to predatory lending practices or schemes and remain trapped in debt cycles. Mandatory financial education empowers students to make informed decisions, break free from financial constraints, and build a brighter future. It is the ethical responsibility of the education system to prepare these students for the realities of adult life, which includes managing finances by making financial education mandatory. We fulfill these responsibilities and ensure that students are equipped to face financial challenges. A 2022 survey by the International Organization of Securities Commission found that 75% of the educators believe that financial education is a critical component in a well-rounded education. Finally, let us consider the ethical responsibility of our education system. We prepare our youth for careers in civic participation. Should financial literacy education, a fundamental life skill, be an integral part of this preparation? Equipping students with financial knowledge empowers them to be responsible citizens and able to manage their finances effectively and contribute meaningfully to Guyana's economic development. In conclusion, financial education in secondary schools is not just about numbers. It's about empowering Guyanese youth to navigate the social and economic landscape and build a brighter future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kia. And now for Mr. Nigel Dreport from Helpful Hands Youth Group. Press the button. Nigel, your time starts now.
Sagacious judges and all other parties present this morning, a blessed morning to you. Today, I stand in firm opposition to the moot that financial education should be mandatory in secondary schools in Guyana. And while the intention behind this proposal is commendable, we must first consider our current educational landscape and challenges that we are facing in Guyana. Our primary focus should remain on core subjects such as mathematics, English, science, and languages. Diverting resources to financial education could dilute the efforts to improve proficiency in these critical areas. According to the High Commission of Guyana in 2023, the pass rate for mathematics is only 34%, and although it has increased from 31% in 2021, it is still alarmingly low. The Caribbean's pass rate for mathematics in 2023 stands at a 43%, indicating that this is not just an issue in Guyana, but it is a regional crisis. Similarly, the pass rate for English has only marginally improved from 67% in 2021 to 70% in 2024. Clearly, we have significant ground to cover in bringing our students up to par with the regional standards. And if students are already struggling with these core subjects, how can we in our right minds justify the addition of mandatory financial education? For instance, as of 2023, the pass rate for accounts is merely 69%. Our students are already facing significant challenges in grasping financial concepts within the current curriculum. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, many teachers do not feel financially stable and they lack the confidence to teach these topics. They're already protesting for more money and a better system. As my first speaker articulately mentioned, many teachers lack the proper training to teach financial education. And this was supported in an article that was published by Dr. Terence Smith in 2017. And I quote, "A survey by the National Endowment for Financial Education found that very few teachers believe they were prepared to teach personal finance to their students," end quote. We are now in 2024. May I humbly ask you, my dear opposition, what has changed since then? Instead of making financial education mandatory, we should consider incorporating it as an extracurricular activity or integrating it into existing subjects like principles of business and principles of accounts. This can offer a less burdensome approach to the issue. Australia has the highest financial literacy rate in the world. And based on a research done by the World Bank in March of 2020, they found that Australia's population is 71% financially literate, where the younger population is engaged in optional routine activities where they involve themselves to be trained. Hence, it is not mandated in high schools. The article went on to say that this helps to alleviate poverty by educating the general population on financial literacy instead of just high schoolers. Can we stop burdening the teachers to do everything in raising our children? Additionally, community leaders and youth groups can create workshops that address financial literacy and sensitize students on the importance of managing money wisely. Granny has always said, don't bite off more than you can chew. Evidently, the students in Guyana can't properly chew what was already fed to them. Are we going to feed them more just for them to choke? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nigel. And there you have it. The two groups for the first semi-final debate in this fourth edition of the Speaker's National Youth Debating Competition. We have had the proposition, the Bijivas Secondary School Youth Group, and the opposition, the Helpful Hands Youth Group. They will have 5 minutes to prepare their rebuttals, and we will have the rebuttals from them. One of these groups will be heading into the finals, which again will be broadcast live on GlobeSpan and on GT Guyana TV. NCN has an engagement at that time and it will be rebroadcasted on NCN. That's the finals next Thursday. We've been hearing about the competition over the past 2 months and the rules of the competition. They haven't changed. But let me remind and go back to the history of our Speaker's National Youth Debating Competition. It started in 2001 during the COVID period, and we had most of the session then online. We started with the collaboration of the Honorable Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport, Charles Ramson, and the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. They collaborated with us to identify youth groups throughout the country, and we started the competition with 16 groups in 2001. We maintained the same format for 2002, but we promised to expand the competition to include regional debating competitions. And so in 2003, we started the regional competitions. And the winners from those regional competitions then moved to the Speaker's National Youth Debating Competition. And this is the second year in which this format has been employed. This is semifinals 1. In addition, the young people go on from these competitions to the Youth Parliament, which will be launched on International Youth Day, August 12th. And we will have the Youth Parliament in 2 segments, secondary schools and the older youths. I know today we had the Bijival Secondary School Youth Group, some enterprising, bright young people, and the Helpful Hands Youth Group on the opposition. Coming back to the format, best performers at the Youth Parliament, they also get an opportunity to represent Guyana at the Caribbean Youth Parliament. The Caribbean Youth Parliament will be held in Guyana this year. And there's also the Commonwealth Youth Parliament, which will be held in New Zealand. Now, we have a special treat. There is, and we had to identify before August, we had to identify the 2 persons, and I think we're looking at the 2 best speakers for our last Youth Parliament to go to New Zealand. So young people around Guyana, and I don't mind expanding this or these competitions to include young people from the diaspora. So if youth groups from the diaspora are interested, we have 1 more year to go, 2005, during my tenure. So if you're interested, this is an interesting competition. You can write us at Parliament and our staff will start looking at, and they've already started planning for next year. So these are a lot of competitions. In 2 months, we started this year with 37 groups in the 10 administrative regions. 2 regions didn't get to participate, and those groups ended up being filtered to 16 groups now. And now from the 16 groups, we'll have youth parliamentarians. But I'm being signaled by our timekeeper that the 5 minutes is up, and we now invite the opposition to present their rebuttal. The opposition Helpful Hands Youth Group, being represented by Abian Saul. Abian, your rebuttal time starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I rise as first speaker once again in firm opposition to the moot of mandatory implementation of financial education in secondary schools in Guyana. The members of the proposition have stood before us today, one by one, painting a one-sided story. We, the proposition, are not denying the benefits of financial literacy and education. However, the members of the proposition have failed to consider the key term in the moot, mandatory, permitting no option. Honorable judges, just in case you were beginning to become convinced by the proposition's ploy to force this subject on our students, let me illuminate some of the blatant half-truths and inconsistencies scattered throughout their speeches. Firstly, the first speaker claimed that the mandatory financial education equips them with skills to make better financial decisions. Intelligent judges, may you recall that we mandated HFLE in some schools, but HIV and teenage pregnancy is still on the rise in the country. Remember this? We can lead the horse to the water, but we cannot make him drink. Thus, there's absolutely no reason to impose this subject on our students. Secondly, the first speaker cited an article where the Attorney General noted that Guyanese cried out about unfair hire purchase practice, and she said that financial education will eliminate these issues. but keen listeners. May I remind you that my second speaker already reminded you that principle of accounts is there, and it focuses on such topics such as hire purchase, yet we are still struggling. Clearly, there's a need for another approach. Thirdly, your first speaker mentioned that financial education helps in reducing economic inequality. But as I mentioned in my speech, issues with the implementation of financial education include lack of resources, time, and materials. If schools are disadvantaged, how can we expect those schools to support financial education equitably across all Guyana? Fourthly, the second speaker told us that Ashley Singh emphasized the importance of financial literacy. But did he say to overburden the curriculum? Nowhere in our presentations did we underscore the importance of financial literacy in education. We acknowledge that it is extremely important. In fact, my third speaker was so kind as to enlighten us with alternative suggestions to improve the percentage of financial literacy in Guyanese. Fifthly, the second speaker stated that the CBD revealed that 70% of all Caribbean residents lack knowledge of finance. He took this article and concluded the implementation of it in schools will ultimately help our society. However, other subjects are mandated in our schools, but adults lack the application that is necessary to make it work. Another subject is time. It is money. It is human resources. It is important to reach for the stars, but please, let us make this reasonable. Let us remain reasonable. In all their ado to present one piece of evidence that stated it is beneficial to mandate this subject in our secondary schools, they have failed. They have yet not presented that evidence. The first speaker also mentioned that financial illiteracy is an issue, and your third speaker said that 70% of the population lacks the knowledge of financial aspects. However, my third speaker said that we have an alarmingly low pass rate in mathematics. If the students are barely passing maths, how do we expect them to be financially literate? Should we not address the main issue at hand? In conclusion, while the importance of financial literacy is undeniable, making financial education mandatory in secondary schools presents significant challenges, such as curriculum overload, limited resources, the risk of widening educational inequalities, the limited impact on students, the lack of practical applications. These are all serious concerns that cannot be ignored with the mandation of financial education. Prestigious judges, let us not rush into mandating financial education without carefully considering the practical implications. Instead, let us strive for a thoughtful, balanced approach that enhances financial literacy while maintaining the quality and equity of our educational system. Let us focus on empowering our educators, supporting our schools, and addressing the broader systematic issues and impact on our students' success. Esteemed judges, I urge you once again to think of the backpack carried by our students as the education system. It is worn thin with holes and the straps are barely hanging on. It is filled to the brim with core subjects. Now the proposition wants us to add another heavy textbook, that being financial education, to this backpack. What happens then? Thank you.
And thank you very much, Ms. Saul, from the Helpful Hands Youth Group. And now for the rebuttal from Bajiville Secondary School Youth Group, being done by Ms. Aquancy Charles. Ms. Charles, your time starts now.
I stand at this podium once again to acknowledge the opposition's argument, but I must say that we do not agree with the points that were mentioned by the opposition. The first speaker of the opposition stated that Guyana has several obstacles that may hinder making financial education mandatory in secondary schools, quoting an article that stated many teachers lack the expertise to teach financial education. As I stated in my argument, if there are specific specialists to teach financial education, students are more likely to grasp the essence of financial education, and they will be more likely to execute it in a better way. The second speaker stated that students should not be confined to the classroom, but As my third speaker stated, financial education is not just about balancing checkbooks. How will they be able to perform out of the classroom when they are not equipped with the theory? The third speaker of the opposition stated that we should focus on the core subjects, including mathematics, English, etc. He also mentioned that we should integrate it into other business subjects, but we must consider that there are different streams and not every student chooses the business stream. By integrating financial education into the curriculum, students will have no choice but to be more propelled and to understand the theory of financial education. The opposition raises concerns about curriculum space. However, as my second speaker stated, nothing comes easy, and it is better for them to learn about financial education in secondary schools rather than to go into adulthood suffering without knowledge about how to manage their finances. The argument about teacher training is fair, but creating a dedicated curriculum allows for focused training and development of financial literacy specialists. These specialists can then collaborate with existing teachers to integrate modules seamlessly. In conclusion, I must say that I do not agree with the opposition's false claim that we should not integrate financial education or we should not make it mandatory in secondary schools. How will the students be equipped with the knowledge they need for adulthood if we do not make this mandatory? Subjects like mathematics and English are being mandatory for a reason. They must know it. Likewise, they must be financially knowledge. They must have financial knowledge in order to survive in this growing economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shakwansi, from the Bajibal Secondary School Youth Group. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all over and now in the hands of our judges. Our judges are Mr. Safraz Yakub. Safraz has been National Youth of the Year, holds degrees from the University of Guyana, pursuing a master's degree, and has also participated in international youth debating competitions. Our next judge, Ms. Miracle Miller, a geologist, herself, like Safraz, or Judge Safraz, has been one of our outstanding young debaters when she participated in these competitions. And like our system of judging, we try to get peers to do the judging of peers. And our chief judge today is from the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, an outstanding young person during her time, Ms. Melissa Dow Richardson, national table tennis coach, national basketball and table tennis player, assistant director of sport, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. So it's all now in the hands of our judges. And what is happening online? Well, today we've had one of our more watched debates. It's the semifinals, yes. But we see Carissa McClure online, Ranella Harris, Flavio Chesney, Nikki Scarpio, Jasmine Hackett, Sanjay Chandradio, Vikash Prasad, Denise James, Otisha Fordyce, Tyrell Davis, Netta Duncan, Shazim Mohammed, Laverne Peters, Alexis Peters, Laurie Lee White, Joshua Anthony, Devin Lachman, Andy Hari Prasad, Tamika Charles, Nandi Suraj Bali. And let me give a big shout out to Honorable Ganesh Mahipal, who has always been supporting with his comments and always watching these programs. Our own Member of Parliament, Ganesh Mahipal. Checking on the judges. Judges are ready. Let's start with Delone Mill on the judges panel, and we start with Judge Yaku.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. Congrats to both teams on making it to the semifinals. It's never an easy feat to be here. You should be proud of yourselves, coming from, I think, in excess of 30 teams and narrowing down to the last 4. So congrats on that. Some things to improve on. In the interest of time, we're trying to be a bit quick. So just focus on your definitions going into greater spheres. As we've been mentioning over and over, Ashni Singh's opinion is an opinion and not a fact. In terms of burnout can be looked at in many ways. So if you're speaking on burnout, remember, if you're going to be doing the subject in Ford Farm, then you can select what you might want to select. So that negates the issue of burnout. Also, a lot of these issues are already dealt with in some of the core subjects that we have: principles of accounts, principles of business, mathematics. It's just a bit tailoring the curriculum a bit more. So that's something that you should have been hammering home on. And basically, that's all that I have for this morning. So congrats again and best wishes going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Yakub. And now for Judge Miller.
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary staff, debaters, fellow judges, members of the audience, a pleasant morning to you all. I did enjoy the debates from both teams. I heard great points. They were also well argued, well researched, and I love the arguments put forward by both teams. It was a great debate. One thing that I would like to give to you, though, is when you're addressing in your address to your audience, especially since this is the Speaker's National Youth Debating Competition, I would just like to implore you, just reference Mr. Speaker first, because I heard him being referenced sometimes last, sometimes in the middle. Some persons fail to reference him, but just make mention of Mr. Speaker first, and then you address the other persons in your audience. But great debate, and good luck to the team moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Miller. And now Chief Judge Melissa Dow Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. In the interest of time, just one quick comment from me. I really appreciate the intelligence of the scripts that were prepared. All 6 scripts were incredibly well structured at the semifinal level of this national debate. Congratulations to both teams for your structure and for your respect to the debating principles. There was also fine eye contact, and the competitive nature was very strong, very dramatic presentation from everyone. Thank you very much. Right, so in terms of our best debater, it was unanimous across the board from the judging panel. Nigel Drapal is this morning's best debater. However, our scores have come out, and our scores give one team, and this was a very competitive debate. Our scores give one team 188, the winning team 197 points. So this morning, the first semifinal goes to the Helpful Hands Youth Group. Congratulations to you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, judges, and thank you very much, contestants. Let's give the Badgerville Secondary School Youth Group another big round of applause. All under 16 years of age, I think it's CXC and A levels. Excellent and great sportsmanship. Also, thank you very much. Congratulations to the best speaker and also our winners today. We are going to be back in less than half an hour for the second debate or the second semifinal, right? So be back in under 25 minutes for our second debate, which will see the I know the University of Guyana Teen Campus is one group, and Child Rights Ambassadors. So this is another hot debates, and we're dealing with artificial intelligence and democracy. So thank you very much.
To we. We are a peaceful people. Struggle is we struggle, and we don't look for trouble. Just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know. We gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere. Make no mistake, 'cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one grass, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupununi and the Essequibo, the time on night. Though we may criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we need to keep it. We have that right. So we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't